So we got that beautiful camera right on your guys' face.
I feel like
Hola.
super popular right now.
You're not. You're not.
Well, you see this little like makeup O-ring kind of thing.
No. We know what that's for. You don't have to lie to us. You started an OnlyFans. didn't you?
JC is like, you need extra light? I got this light that's just sitting around, and he brought it over. I'm like, why do you?
So
why do you
JC
have
started
this?
an OnlyFans.
Yeah. I was like, why do you have this? He was like, oh, I just had it laying around. I'm like, you didn't answer my question. I'm like, well, welcome you guys to the See Dude podcast right here. I think this will be the second episode in the podcast. I've filmed the first one with JC. I actually filmed another one, but I want to slide you guys in between the two JC videos right there. So everyone that's listening and not watching the videos, I am here with the Nsanefishing guys. Check out their YouTube channel, Nsanefishing. It is Brandon and Dustin. And we're going to be talking about their channel, their little rivalry or friendship, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of fishing in general. So welcome, you guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it being here.
It's good to be here. I know I'm not as popular as JC, but we're
Not
here.
as popular as JC. He's got.
We're here.
Let the shit talking of JC begin now.
After this, he's going to be like, those guys want to kill me.
He's
these
like,
guys are
he's
terrible.
like, if they ever invite me out fishing, like I'm just gonna
Yeah,
just get bullied the entire time out there.
should mess with him. Just start loading concrete onto the boat when he steps on.
Have you seen those videos of the people that are like trolling? And they'll like, someone's like asleep, and then they'll tie like a a 5 pound
They
dumbbell
put a water
or
bottle
something.
at a 5 pound flat weight, and they throw it out there, and the drag just starts dumping.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
make that guy reel it in
Yeah.
for like an hour.
Yeah. And they're like, I think I hooked an anchor.
That's what you got to do. You got to drop a bait and then like purposely hook the bottom or something, loosen the drag a little
Just bring
bit.
a 5 gallon bucket out half full of concrete, drop it down there. This way when he's fighting it. Or drill holes in a bucket and drop it down so it can still come up. And actually it'll feel like a fish because
Kind of that little like weight moving around. Now we're thinking.
Oh yeah.
JC, do not watch this podcast. I doubt you actually do. But so let's start with your guys' channel. So Nsanefishing. When did you guys make that channel?
We made that channel about 3 years ago, and I made the name because his charter company is Fish in Crazy. I'm like, I just want to have something that's kind of branched off that, so I just took the N and Fish in Crazy and made Nsanefishing.
Oh, there you
So
go.
it kind of like just puts us together in
Yeah.
that realm of
Yep.
everything.
Yeah, we were going to also do like a little bit of everything kind of fishing too. So it'd be a little bit, instead of insane, it's insane,
Yeah.
But we were going to get into bass fishing and everything else like that. And then that kind of never happened.
I've realized, at least with me personally, the realm of like bass fishing, it seems like I've posted, I don't even know, probably like 5 or 6 bass videos on my own channel, and they never do anywhere close to as well as the saltwater. I just think there's so many.
There's just so many people wanting to come to Florida to saltwater fish that 90% of the time they're looking up saltwater fishing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And I look at it like you could have a bass fishing channel in every other state in the United States.
Yep.
And that it just seems like a super oversaturated.
Yep. Well, there's
like,
there's like a handful of big bass fishing channels, and that's mainly the guys that came up with Guggen Squad.
Yep.
And that's it. 90% of all the bass fishing channels revolve around those guys.
Yeah.
And you're not going to beat those guys out. There's no way. And or not even like you're not going to even take any followers from those guys because they do everything so much too. So
Yeah. So that's kind of, that's what I found. I have people commenting and they're just like, you should do bass fishing. I'm like, I've tried to be there for you guys. But
to be fair, bass fishing is so boring.
Yeah,
It is so
Yeah.
boring.
I still do it. JC and I went the other day, but we don't even bring cameras. We don't even do anything. And we'll just go out there and we're just like, there's a pond over in my brother's neighborhood that we go to, and we're just catching little like 1-2 pounders pretty much every other cast. And we're just like, cool. This is no drag being pulled or like anything.
The
And
funnest bass fishing I think we ever did was when we went to Miami.
Yeah, Peacock
Peacock
bass.
bass,
that's a whole different
Oh, it
world.
was
because
fantastic. We
We weren't
pulled
even on the boat. We pulled
we-
up some park. I don't even know if it was legal.
We were
or not,
literally
but-
on Google Maps. We were on Google Maps. It's pouring rain out. There's a
Oh,
hurricane
God.
hitting Miami, and we're down there peacock bass fishing.
But you're probably slaying it.
We caught 80 some odd peacocks.
For his birthday, he picks
Yeah.
the worst weekend to go.
No, I
to
didn't pick
Miami.
it. You guys picked it.
And then he has his buddy or whoever he is book him
Some random dude.
book us the Airbnb. Well, he booked it in the hood of Miami.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's
all around us
great.
is just
It's
gated up
fantastic.
windows and just freaking just like, you're like, I don't know if I should really be here right now. And it was during COVID, so everything was closed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
all you could do was get bait and fish. So
Yeah, that's
I
all
don't
we did.
remember. We pulled up to some park,
It was
right?
it was some park. I don't.
Some random park, and
Yep.
we just found a bridge, and we just kept flipping shiners underneath it.
and it
then
was
we
just
start
one
hooking up,
after
and we're
another,
like,
just
so cool.
constant.
This
it
works.
was unbelievable. Yeah, we didn't think we were going to catch. We were like, if we catch one, it'd be.
Yeah,
it's
it's like you go down there and you kind of have an idea of what to do,
Yeah.
but you don't know exactly where to go,
Yep.
exactly what to do, and then that seems like the couple times I've done that, you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then
Yep.
you get the shiners, and it's just like, oh, this
is super.
this ain't bad.
We actually got him to eat. I was actually throwing a white fluke too.
Oh, there
and
you
we
go.
were eating a white fluke too, that was cool. And then we were just on our way back. We were stopping in the Everglades at some of the pull-offs. We were catching peacocks then too.
That's so cool.
I was like, we're gonna catch a monster largemouth. Nope, I get hooked. We were hooking up in this big peacocks, like 6
They fight
pounders.
so much harder
Yeah,
than any
they're
largemouth.
fantastic.
We
yeah.
pulled off of the main highway, and we found a boat ramp.
Yep.
And we just kept flipping off the ramp. Pulling
We're
peacocks.
all throwing just white flukes, nose hook, white flukes on a 3-aught, and we were just one back, and just like we're not even.
We're not even trying. This
like,
isn't
all right.
hard. This isn't a challenge.
It was super easy.
Yeah.
And it was like going out to catch grunt. It was just easy.
Did you guys make that into a video, or was that just like fishing?
That was just fishing.
I think we were just fishing.
yeah,
Yeah,
we just fished that weekend.
we weren't
yeah.
even really heavy into doing YouTube yet.
No, it was like we were just
Just kind of here and there.
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah, because the vast majority of your guys' videos are obviously saltwater, but you guys do a good variety of both inshore and offshore
Yeah.
and spearfishing. You guys seem to be
So-
putting a lot more effort into the spearfishing
So
too.
when we started, here I'm trying to go off of the script a little bit here.
Oh yeah, my outline, my very professional outline that I'm trying to.
How did
Stick
we
to.
meet? Okay, so
That
I'm going to bring this way back, and then bring it up real quick. So
that was a long time ago.
Dustin and I went to high school together.
Yep.
He
We had
right
lunch.
after, we had lunch together. We sat at the same table, but we never really
that's
talked
cute.
to each other.
Yeah, we
we
didn't
never
really
really talked to each other though. We were just at the same table. So fast forward to that, we both graduated. I joined the Army. I went to Germany. You did.
I went to North Dakota and worked on oil rigs right after high school.
He went to the oil rigs. So
Yeah.
I come back, and then I end up going to West Texas to the oil rigs for about 6 or 8 months, and then I come back from that, and I needed a job. Well, he had been working at the trash company, throwing garbage and stuff, and I got a job there. And we kind of saw each other. We were like, yeah, hey, I kind of remember you, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And then he made a post. He's like, hey, I'm getting on redfish good, but I have trouble getting snook.
I was struggling for snook for some reason. This was years.
This was like years
ago.
and years and years
Yeah.
That's
ago.
on like Facebook or something.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
made
it
a
was
Facebook
made a
post,
Facebook
and at the
post.
time I was fishing with my stepdad, and we were on a good snook bite, but we could not find redfish.
Oh, there you
So
go.
he gets on the boat. We catch redfish the first day. We're like, okay, sweet. And then we kind of help him
Yep.
get on some snook. Well, fast forward to that, I kind of had like a falling out with my stepdad because I wanted to do the YouTube channel with him. And I'm like, well, I'm not talking to him anymore. You know, we're fishing. Like, do you want
The
to?
falling out happened the day that we were going to go snook fish the beach at night, and we were in my little stupid 12-foot John boat. Remember? And we went out and caught all those grunts.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And that night we were supposed to go snook fishing,
Yeah.
but he wanted us to go do everything else after catching all the
yeah.
catching all the bait that day.
Basically, it was just not good. So me and him fell out, and we're like, dude, like, I want to do this channel. Like, I just like filming stuff. You want to do it? Let's do 50-50 on it. And he's like, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah, and
So-
I've never been good with technology when it comes to cameras, and that's not my gig. But fishing, I can find some fish.
So-
That's not hard.
Most people will probably never watch our first videos, but our first video was in a 12-foot John boat fishing mangrove lines
Love that.
for trout, and I think that's all we got.
I think we got mangrove too,
Trout and a
and we
couple
hooked that
mangroves.
big old bull redfish.
Yeah.
And you
And
couldn't figure out how to start the outboard and plowed me into the
I
mangrove.
drove us straight into the mangroves.
This
and
is
then-
all on video.
Yeah. And then reversed back out. By the time I got us around the mangrove line, it broke off.
Yep.
And he's like, wow, dude. Like,
Like, this
awesome.
is a guy I decided to try and do this channel with.
Yeah. And
But just the next
next
week or
one,
two,
yeah.
we had probably the best redfish day we've ever had.
I
Still
haven't
to
been able
this
to beat
day.
it. Yeah, we did. It was like 2 hours of fishing, and we literally boated probably 50 reds.
That
And they
was
were
all between 25 to 30.
Yeah, every last one of them.
We sat in one spot with one bait.
We
whipping-
actually were filming on just one GoPro,
Yeah.
and we were having triple ups in a 12-foot John boat.
With just the two of you.
we were walking back and forth in 12-foot John boat, walking around each other. We're not the smallest people in the world to be doing that. And then it started pouring on us, and we're still filming. I'm holding up my hat over top of the GoPro so we can get this. And while he's fighting 3 fish at one time while I'm holding a camera.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Dude, I'm like, you're doing great, buddy. He's like, I need somebody to net a fish. I'm like, boat flip it. We're in a John boat, buddy. We're right there in the water.
I'm working over here.
What do you had like the perch setup where you just put the rods in the or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I had a crappie
setup.
I know
you're
set it
talking
up
about,
for crappie fishing.
And had all baits out. We just set it in the crappie thing and just wait.
Redfish instead.
Yeah. We bumped the living crap out of those crappie robbers. It's just
That's crazy.
Oh my
I
God.
want to look back and see that video.
It
was hilarious.
It was hilarious. It was not the best. And then after that, I had an old Nauticat. Old
200 two-stroke
200 two-stroke on it. It was like an 18-foot Nauticat. You could literally grab the bow with one hand and lift it.
Yeah.
But it had a 200 Yamaha two-stroke on the back.
So thing would fly.
We had it doing 62 before I had to let off because the boat started chiming out of the water.
I remember.
But we ran that boat all over the place. Had a 10-gallon fuel tank, and we were taking that out doing shallow. That's what we started doing shallow water grouper fishing in. And then I wanted to start the charter business.
Yeah.
And I needed a new boat, but we were killing it out of that stupid Nauticat, man.
Well, hold on, you got to bring it back to the trash company where. You have to wake up at 2:00 in the morning.
I bought the Epic though once we started doing that. Because that's when they.
Well, I'm just telling them about like right before that. So like me and him, like I said, we worked at the same place. Then we worked on the same truck together. So we'd get up at 2:00 in the morning, go to work, throw 20 tons of garbage, get off work, hop in the Epic that he bought, and then go fish. Like that was our drive in the beginning. Like that's like it didn't matter how tired we were. Whatever it was, like we were going right after work. And we're talking like, dude, like you're catching the same fish, same size, like that these captains are doing. Like there's no reason for you not to just get your captain's license. Yeah. And that's what we were talking about. And then he ended up doing it. Got that yellow Epic boat that you guys always see in the videos. Oh yeah. And then just started from there.
Yep.
Now you're one of the most hated people around.
Nobody likes seeing that yellow Epic come up. I can't stand it.
You're getting hated on. You're doing something right.
That's it. That's a good point. Yeah, a lot of the captains don't like. I get looked down on because the Epic's not a expensive name brand by no means.
It's not a bad. I mean, I don't know too much. I don't.
They've had some. They have a bad rep, but they were not. You could used to be able to pick them up for under 40,000 brand new. Okay. I paid like 30 for mine, but I had the Yamaha on the back of it instead of a Suzuki. And it was fully rigged. And at the time, I just got done buying a house. So it was like, well, I need a boat. And I was like, well, that's pretty cheap. And I bought it. It's been working fine. Been getting the job done. It's kind of how I look at it. But
how big is it?
22.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Same size as mine.
Yeah. 22, 200 Yamaha, jack plate, dual power poles.
Gets the job done. I always say the best boat. People always ask me, they're like, well, they asked me about the Sea Hunt that I got and everything. And they're like, what boat will you recommend? I'm like, honestly, just whatever boat gets you on the water and gets you on the fish. You don't need the super expensive bay boats or anything like that. And I mean, that's kind of why I like Sea Hunt so much. It's kind of that. It's a lesser price point kind of boat.
Yeah, that's why I bought that, and I could afford it. After buying a house and everything else, you're like, oh man, I was going to buy a Seaborn, the 24 whatever Seaborn, but.
Speak of the devil.
Oh my goodness!
Hey. Oh, do I answer this?
Yes. Put it on speakerphone.
Freaking grunt hunt! Oh my god!
Oh yeah, do you want to go catch a bunch of grunts?
Kill that! That would be like the only tournament we'd win.
So you're currently on the podcast right now. I'm filming the podcast with the Insane guys. Guys, say hi.
What's going on, man?
What's up, dude?
I'm so worn out from the triggerfish.
Dude.
Oh, we've already talked about that.
We've already been talking about that. You're behind on that a little bit.
But I sent him apparently it was down in Madeira Beach next weekend. There's a grunt hunt tournament.
Yeah, I sent that to you.
You sent that to me too. You want to go do a grunt hunt tournament?
I'm like, we'll keep an eye on the waves and everything, keep an eye on weather. And I'm like, do we just do that? So I sent him a picture of that because he gets absolutely fired up with grunts and catching big grunts. Oh, if we get a big grunt, he's like, can we keep that?
I said I wish I could take off work for grunts. I'm considering it.
Oh, well, I'm considering
it for grunts.
No, we'll keep an eye on the waves and everything. And dude, I was like, why not? We'll go rip it. Okay, no, you're good. We'll continue to talk about you. All right, see ya.
Oh my god.
Oh, JC.
What
Okay,
a great guy.
so we're talking about your Epic.
Yeah.
That thing's a statement with the yellow.
Oh, it stands out. People know it. Everybody's like, why don't you get your boat wrapped? I'm like, because I get pictures from randoms when I'm driving down the road of that boat. Just like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time. It's got the nickname Magic Banana.
Oh man, Magic Banana.
Magic Banana. It's literally, I'll be driving down the road and I'll see my Facebook notification will go off. Open it up. It's a picture of my boat rolling by me, rolling past them.
The Magic Banana spotted.
Banana. And I'm like, God dang it all. And I didn't want.
Close enough to you?
Nah, it should be. I didn't want a yellow boat by no means, but it was a good deal, so it was hard to pass up.
No,
It's like my biggest thing. It's like,
think
if I can get a good deal on it, I'll buy it.
I think it was one of the first times I fished with JC up in his area. I think it was before we went out for the first time when we went to the middle grounds. I think we saw you guys like going by at some point. I'm like,
Probably.
I'm like, I know who those guys were, and it's one of these things like because of that boat,
That boat,
because of that
it
yellow
stands
Epic. I was
out,
like,
like-
I think I know who those
I'll
people
get-
are.
So I launch out of Nick's Park right there, usually.
Yeah.
And Hooters is right there.
Yep.
So I'll get random guys will walk over all the time on a regular. It's regular, and I'll message him like, some guys are yelling at me, insane fishing. They could just tell by the boat.
That's so cool though. That's
Sometimes
cool
we'll be
though.
cruising through Gulf Harbors and they'll be like looking over and be like, "Are you guys insane fishing?"
Yeah.
We're like, "Yeah, I think
Just
so."
standing out in their docks.
There you go, doing something right.
Multi-million-dollar homes. Like, you guys are insane fishing, right? I'm like, yeah. And Brandon's pitching mullet off of guys' pylons.
What are the favorite videos we like to film or edit? I tell you what. So
edit, I don't like.
So you guys,
that's
just
you.
real quick. So I'm like the whole editing side of it.
You're the videography, editing.
The whole
Yeah,
media side of it is all
Yeah.
me. The boats and the knowledge and everything is this
Yeah.
guy. So 99% of what I know about fishing came from him.
Yeah,
Like I couldn't even tie a hook before I met him,
that's
or
facts.
line to line,
That's facts.
or anything.
When we
So,
first
like,
started fishing,
yeah,
he would break off,
break
set the
off,
rod down, and I
hand
had
it to him.
Yeah,
Here you
And
go.
I told him, like,
Yeah.
listen, man, these are the knots I tie.
Yeah.
Learn them, and I handed him a spool of frickin' leader and said
Yeah.
to go home and learn them, so that it's not killing
Here's your
us
homework right here.
from time to time, and he learned he picked it up quick and real quick,
Yeah.
which is great. But then and the offshore stuff.
Yeah. So as far as
You just started laughing immediately with that.
So when I first we did the shallow water stuff. Mm-hmm. Great.
that was like our first venture between offshore stuff,
Yeah,
shallow
and
water up
it
in
was
Hernando.
fun. We were, shallow water gag grouper. We were casting the rock piles, catching big cobia. Great time. And then I kept itching. I'm like, let's go. I got the Epic and like bigger boat. Let's go farther. We got bigger fuel tank. And every time we'd go, the saying, Brandon always makes a joke. He says, if it ain't blowing, you ain't going. It's always rougher.
Dude, he's like,
we're
man,
running."
it's calling for like once. We get out there 3.5.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
like,
And in a bay boat, terrible. The bay
Oh,
boat's
yeah.
not
so
as
we'll
bad.
get out like 8 miles and then just spin it back around.
So it was like the first 2 weeks I think I had the Epic. The Kings were starting to run.
Oh my! Oh, here we go.
And I'm
with
like,
this
hey
story.
man, I'm like, let's go troll for some kingfish just past the island. Like I know how to do it. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Did it for years, And he's like, all right, man, let's go. We get out there and it's sixes.
Sixes. And you're in the Epic.
And we're in the Epic and we're trolling. And Brandon's like, dude, he's like, I can't stand. He's like, he can't stand on the deck to freaking put lines out. And I'm like, well, hey man, just hold the wheel and I'm good. And all I see is him holding the wheel with one hand, and holding the leaning post with the other, and both knuckles are turning white. He's squeezing so hard, and we are getting the snot beat out of us, and we're getting tossed. And I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna call it today. We're gonna head in. And he's like, buddy. And then after that, he wanted no part of offshore.
I'm like, dude, don't ever invite me to do
Never,
something like that
Unless it
again.
is freaking glass.
No,
out there.
he wanted no part of offshore. None.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude,
Like,
I'm done.
I
Let's go
hated it
snook
'cause
fishing.
Every time we ran in the beginning, it was always
Always
rough as
rough.
shit.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So it turned me off of it. I'm like,
He's like, buddy,
I don't want to do this.
He's like, buddy, let's go snook fishing. Let's go snook fishing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, let's go snook fishing. And then
Mullet fishing with snook was like a big thing.
yeah,
after
it was
that.
huge. And then we found a spot. I call it the spring because we thought we seen my depth finder looked like it was a hole. It kind of opened up and it might have been a spring, but we've dove it since then and found it's just this massive, just unbelievable city basically under the water, full of big AJs. Big AJs. We went out there and we had blue runners, and he's like, and this was his first time, like, he went back to back to back.
It was glasses day, just so you know.
5 times back to back, 110 freaking degrees out, glass calm, five AJs back to back to back. After that, he's like, dude, this is what I want to do.
After sitting down in the back,
after sitting down for like 2 hours, I think I'm gonna die.
There's no cover on that boat, so there's no wind that day.
Yeah.
It probably was 100 degrees,
easily,
and them just whipping blue runners this big. One, and the AJs are on the surface, so they're just slamming it right away,
and then going straight down.
Yeah.
That is so much.
And
fun,
I'm like, after that, I was like, okay, like I think we found something.
After that, he's like, the next day, he's like, man, I understand why you want to be offshore so much now.
But then when we went out and we saw all those big AJs and the vertical jig, you wanted nothing to do with them.
Listen,
I was all about it. I was in the same boat as you. I'm like, I don't get to play with these all the time.
We're out there a lot now, so AJs kind of get annoying, especially when you're running snapper gear. You're running a 4,000 and you're catching 30-pound AJs. And you're like, okay, 20 minutes in, it's like, you're like, I'm done. I don't want to catch another one.
Yeah,
and we've done that a lot. Too much to count. That's terrible.
So do you guys, kind of going off that idea, do you guys, as of right now, I think I should preface that, do you guys prefer personally fishing inshore or offshore?
Offshore all day.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I tell people too, even with like my bow and stuff. I'm like, if it's nice enough, I want to be offshore.
Yep.
And that's kind of you don't know what you're going to get out there. You have a way more variety.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have no clue what's going to hit that bait.
You put a free line out there.
Yeah, you have
get king,
no clue.
You hear all the stories of the blackfins out there.
Because like honestly, recently, like with all the stuff we've been doing offshore and diving and everything, it's just like it's kind of like it feels like to me it's like work fishing inshore now. It's kind of just like it's like okay to me. Dustin loves it still, but like for me, it's just like what we do out there now is like. You just can't compare it to catching the same 3 fish, worrying about tides, worrying about this or that or whatever. Yeah, I can't get into this spot because it's too low, yada, yada, yada. Like, you just run deep and then just get gunneled by whatever. You just don't know. Like, you just can't beat that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, I agree with you 100%. That's kind of the same boat that I've found myself kind of leaning toward, especially in like the past year.
Yeah.
Because it was like one of these things. Yeah, you could go out. It's kind of like a luxury to be able to go out and go offshore and to take advantage of it. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a game changer once you can start playing out there a lot more. It's definitely.
So, as far as our favorite videos to film or edit,
I don't know about the editing.
Okay,
filming,
editing on me. So, probably my favorite videos to edit are the dive videos.
I was about to say probably just dive videos.
Just get to map out the whole bottom and actually see like what you're fishing and what's going on.
10 times easier to edit.
Oh yeah, they're 10 times easier.
You can probably just clip them things.
It's a 30-minute video, just one GoPro.
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah,
and then and obviously second would be offshore.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of like the switching between cameras and everything. So I have a ton of footage that has to get imported and then make sure it's all lined up. It match perfectly, switch back and forth. So it's a lot more time. What am I trying to say?
Time consuming.
Yeah, it's a lot more time consuming to do, but I just prefer it that way.
Yeah.
That's just the way I do it.
I love being out in the blue. The deeper I can be, the better. That's just
really?
Wow. Hey. So no, no, I love offshore is where it's at. I mean, you can. Anybody literally can go catch a redfish or a snook.
Especially live bait, cut bait, shrimp.
It takes no skill, no skill at all. It just takes a little bit of knowledge. You don't need a lot.
It's one of these things. I forgot who said it, but I've heard that. Have you heard that 90-10 rule? Where it's 90% of the fish live in 10% of the water or something like that.
Yeah, Salt Strong does a lot of it.
Is that it? That's probably where I heard it. And they say, and I really believe for inshore, I mean offshore is completely the same thing.
Yeah.
As long as you know where it is and where the fish are, especially inshore, you know a specific oyster bar, mangrove shoreline or anything like that.
A deep trough.
You go there, right tide.
Yeah.
More or less you're going to get on the fish. And I 100% agree with you with that, where it's like, and it's just a lot more accessible. Like a lot of people, you go out there, and especially coming up in nicer time of the year, you're going to go out there and there's already going to be 4 boats in the same area because people already know about that too. Offshore, granted, I've had it where you run 18, 20 miles out and there's someone sitting right on your spot and you're just like, well, okay, I guess we'll go run to a different spot.
Yeah, I mean we've had that too, but it's
well, the good thing with the boat you have now is you can just get past all the bay
big
boaters.
boat. You can literally run past everybody, especially up our area. There's a lot of, I guess I can't say that. There's a lot of big boats up our area, but a lot of those guys use them for show. There's a lot of big center consoles that are set up for fishing that they just use for show. There's not many guys that run like hardcore. I know down this way and farther south, there's a lot of guys that fish offshore, but up our way, there's not many people. There's only like probably 3 of us in the Pasco County area that are actually licensed to run deep. 3 or 4 of us for charter wise, but in general, I mean, like, shoot, I mean. There's been days that we've ran and haven't seen a single soul.
Yeah.
And then also we get into 40 within like 15, 16 miles, and it's littered with people.
Yep.
Especially
that's where I kind of stay in my little strike zone. And it's one of these things I try telling, like, my dad and like my family and everything, they get a little worried when I run offshore in a little bit. I'm like, pretty much any day that I go out, I make sure it's the nicer days.
Yep.
And I go out there, I'm like, you're seeing all these boats off in the distance. You're not out there alone. Like, it might seem like it, but you're not.
Yeah, we've had it. We've had it that we've been out all day long and haven't seen a single soul before. But again, most of the time when we're running, we're not backing it on the throttle until we hit 60 miles minimum usually. Yeah. You know.
So when you do these big offshore charter runs, how far are you typically running?
Like the 12 hours?
Yeah.
It depends.
Really kind of like what's been good lately and everything.
Yeah, so it's also like ARS season, like that's coming around the corner. That opens up June 1st. So like during the beginning part of ARS season, you can usually catch some big ARS inside of 60 miles.
Yeah.
But as the season goes on, more and more pressure gets hit, and they start bumping out deeper as the water temp warms up too, even more. So then, like, I think we ended last ARS season running, like, our minimum running was like 85 miles.
That's crazy.
But we were pulling dinosaurs. I mean, they were the size of this coffee table sitting in front of us.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're putting 12 of those in the fish box, and then you got to get, plus red grouper and gags and everything else. Because this year, sadly, we're not going to have gag grouper open until September.
Right?
Yeah, it's like September 1st to November 11th. Or 14th.
So the entire summer season's kind of closed this year.
Yeah, for gags. Yep.
We'll see how that goes. But
and the wintertime, December. December's a great time of year to fish for gags.
That's my favorite.
Inside of state waters for you guys with day boats and stuff. So now you guys are kind of getting the short end of the stick.
Oh yeah. But then I went out. I remember I took a couple buddies out, probably like 2 or 3 weekends ago now, and we ran out about 18. And we're like, we'll go out and get some keeper reds. We only got 1 keeper red, but we would have got like 6 keeper gags in like 30 minutes if we wanted to.
I just did a 4-hour just grunt hunt trip with clients and on the big boat, and I fished a rock pile in 30 feet of water. We absolutely hammered gags. And I mean, we would have had a boat limit of gags within 2 hours.
Yep.
And they were all, the biggest one we caught was like 31.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And we caught it on a shrimp.
Were you going for like grunts and hogs and
we were going for mangroves and sheep's head,
Yeah.
and we were catching big gags. And I'm like, clients were happy about it.
Yeah.
They didn't care that they couldn't keep it. But I was like, where were you? Like, I fished this spot
Where were you in December?
I fished this spot in December, and we didn't catch a single keeper gag off the dang thing all winter. Like, well, what is happening?
That's what I was telling my buddies. I was like, all December, I was like, this spot, I'm like, we were getting a bunch of reds, like some big reds and everything. We'll go out there, and we'll get a couple. And we got one, but then it was just like, oh, well, the gags are here to play now. I'm like, every single time we were using frozen sardines, just dropping them down, I'm like, it's going to be a big gag. And they're having a blast. They don't fish very often.
They're
so
fun. Like, they're great to catch. It's just like, man, especially when we're running the big boat, it's like, it's great. Go out there and you're guaranteed you're going to hammer a big red snapper when you're out there. Which makes cool video, makes cool footage, makes cool everything. But it's like,
and you just vent them and chuck them back.
Yeah. And you're like, man, the fish box is empty. It's like, come on now.
Yeah, like the time we ran, like everything was open. So we were putting red grouper, ARS, everything
gags,
in. Now it's just like, you can get red grouper.
Yeah, mangroves.
Like, we went out to some spots, like, I don't know how long ago, but probably over 120 feet, and we were checking them, and like, they were just not there as far as before. Mm-hmm. And like, so I think between the water temp, because we were fishing like hot summertime,
but like some of those spots, and then we fished dead nuts winter, and they just weren't. They weren't there. I think we had like 1 keeper red grouper that day that got sharked halfway up. Mm-hmm. that was kind of like the story of that day. We hooked a lot of big stuff, and that ended it.
Yeah. When did you start, or when did you get this big boat? When did you start going on these offshore?
So the big boat, that was always been like, I've always wanted to do it, but it was always having the money to do it.
Oh, of course.
What boat is it? Because we haven't even talked about like what boat it is.
That's on the title, it's a 27-foot Pro Cat, but it measures out on the tape 30 feet. And I bought that. I got that a pretty good deal on that. It had twin 250 Suzukis on it, and I always wanted it. It was sitting at this mechanic shop, and he used it off and on. I'm like, man, that boat is sweet. I've always wanted that boat. And one year, I saved a bunch of money just from just doing side stuff and working a lot. And I hit the guy up. I'm like, man, you want to sell that boat? I'm like, let's make a deal. And he's like, 40. What would I pay? $45,000 for it.
For that boat, that's a good deal.
He's like, $45,000, it's yours.
Yeah.
And he says, I'll put a brand new windlass on it for you and everything else. I'm like, done.
Yeah.
I'm like, you say when you get everything done, and I'll bring you a check.
Yeah.
I'll bring you a cashier's check. And so we bought it, and then I think our very first run on it, we didn't even like baby into it. We ran
straight 60 miles.
We ran straight 60
and
miles.
Just destroyed everything.
Just messed. We were averaging 20-inch mangroves, just a couple 30-inch red grouper. Like we were.
I think we had yellowtail, like everything in the box.
Yeah, and then we made it home fine, and the motor had a weird noise to it. And I'm like, man, my starboard motor had a weird noise. I'm like, man, that's weird. I'm like, screw it. We're going to run again next week. And we ran 60. I didn't have federal permits at the time, so I wasn't chartering on it. It was just a recreational boat.
Just you guys going.
Yeah. And I was still it was a plan was to get it going, but the federal permits were so much money at the time, I didn't have the money for the Fed permits. So that boat, we were just I was building it into a charter boat. I was critiquing it, getting everything set the way I wanted it. And we ran again, and we were out there, and we lost. Was it the second time we lost the motor?
Yeah. I think so. It was the second time.
And we got out there. No, it wasn't. We made it back in. It was the third time. And we got back in, and I called up the guy I bought it from. I'm like, hey, man, this motor's making a weird noise. And he's like, that's what he does for a living. He's a certified boat mechanic. He has a shop. He has a bunch of employees. I'm like, this motor's making a weird noise. Like, you need to own up and fix this problem before I get really pissed. Because,
I just bought this boat.
I just bought it. I'm only on my second
First couple times running out, yeah.
So he had it for 3 months. And then you couldn't, because of COVID and everything else, couldn't get parts. And it found out one of his mechanics didn't torque down the spark plug. And the compression blew the spark plug back out and blew the cylinder part and ruined the threads for the spark plug to go in. And there's a gear on the bottom the bearing was starting to go bad on the lower end of the motor. Okay. So he ripped it all apart, rebuilt that motor for me. No issues after that, after he got it done. But it took him, 3 months?
It was a long time.
Freaking time. And then we ran it again. Ran it after it was all fixed. Ran it. That motor, great. No issues. We get out. We ran. We ended up in the middle grounds that day. We ran it was about 72, almost 80 miles, somewhere around there.
And you kept having that where you'd start it and die.
Motor would start and die. So the idle control solenoid on it, because it had electric shift throttles, kept taking a crap. So we started limping home. We limped home 30 miles on one motor.
How long did that take?
Man, we were only doing 9 miles an hour.
I don't know if it was 30. I think it was probably only like 20.
We made it 30 miles. Because right after I got that motor and we found that sunken boat, I called in the Coast Guard.
Yeah. So, like, his boat will not plane up, obviously, on one motor.
Yeah,
you'll get 9 miles an hour out of it on one motor.
Yeah.
So, after a while, I kept playing with it, and I just got it running, just nailed the throttle. And I almost lost everybody off the back. But motor kicked in, we were good, we were sending it. I'm like, guys, we're not stopping.
All the way to the freaking shoreline.
We went all the way to the shoreline, and then it died when we were trying to load it onto the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And we just had to fight to get it on the trailer.
I was going to say, that's probably hard.
Yeah, so, and then I replaced the stupid solenoid. It was a $50 part, plug and play. Fixed. Those motors were just always giving me issues, nonstop. And then it happened to us again, but I learned that I can change the throttle screw out, and so it would idle super high. Not the best for your lower units. You don't want your boat to be idling at 2,000 RPMs when you drop it in gear. Never good. But when you're 60, 70 miles offshore, it's what you got to do. And we ran it. What was it? I ran that boat for almost a year like that, right? With those Suzukis.
Yep.
Has it been almost a year?
Almost a year. Almost an issue
Tons
every
of
time.
issues. Yeah, tons of issues. And then the motor started burning oil.
Oh, yeah.
And synthetic oil, and they're burning it hard. I'm like, that is not good.
You're putting like 5 or 6 quarts in every like 3 trips or something.
3 trips. And I'm like, man, this is bad. What I was getting ran. At this point, I was able to buy my federal permits for running as a charter boat.
Yeah. So and you can't take the days off.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, man. And then it was the last 2 weeks of last summer ARS season. I lost a cylinder, blew a cylinder on the port motor, on the starboard motor. And I'm like, I'm done. Like, that's it. Season's cooked. Yeah. And I had last 2 weeks were fully booked. And I'm like, we're dead in the water. Yeah. And I'm like, I beat up. I was running through ideas on what to do. I started calling around. Motors were still hard to get. And I'm like, man, I can't find a pair of motors for this boat for anything. Like, Yamaha wanted $60,000. Suzuki was $53,000 out the door.
For the two?
For the two. Yeah. And I'm like, that's not bad. So I was thinking about calling Suzuki and seeing if I can get a set of motors. And then I found Tohatsu. I talked to a big charter captain down in Tampa. It's all he runs is Tohatsu. He's put 5,000 hours on one set and never had an issue. They were only $40,000 out the door for both motors. And I'm like, guys, let's see if you get finance first, because I didn't have the $40,000 cash because.
Just ready to go.
Yeah, it was just. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I got financed. I got approved. I'm like, perfect. Let's do this. Literally took the boat down there on it was like a Monday, and I told Brandon, I'm like, boat's gonna be down for a week. They said it's gonna take a week to get everything done, and the next day they called me. They're like, hey, come pick up your boat. Oh, I'm like, great. What happened? They're like, no.
No, we're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? They're like, your boat's too big. We can't close our gates.
We had to go overtime to get this thing out of here.
They're like, we had to have a security guard sit at the gate and make sure none of the brand new boats we have behind the gate get stole. And I'm like, they're like, we put all 4 mechanics on your boat just to get those motors bolted and out the door. So it literally 1 day turnaround, and had to do the break-in. So I had to do the break-in. I did the break-in by myself. I don't remember what you were doing.
I had something going on, yeah.
Yeah, so I ran from the Cody River all the way down past Dunedin Causeway and everything, all the way down there and back in, and got the break-in done in 1 day.
Yeah,
and
kind of have to.
Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. And then we ran that was September when I got the new motors finally put on. And then we ran most of the gag grouper season was on the brand new motors, which was fantastic. Getting way better fuel mileage. They're way quieter. And that brand new motors on it have been fantastic. And then we just did another upgrade we just did to it. We just put a spot lock on it.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, spot lock.
That was super nice.
Yeah.
It was a spot lock with the charging system. So when the big motors are running, it's charging the batteries too for the trolling motor.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
so on those big runs, you never even need to charge it, really.
And I still have a charger too, so at nights I plug it in still just to be on the safe side. Yeah, and then to Monday, Monday morning I'm taking it down to Safe Floor in Ruskin, and I'm getting Safe Floor put on it, which is like a rubberized flooring. The boat's gonna look completely different on the inside now.
Okay,
yeah,
look at you.
Yeah, getting it cleaned up, man. I got to make the boat look pretty. I didn't want to hear Brandon complain anymore when we were pulling anchor in 150 feet.
Just one time I go barefoot on this boat.
Oh my God! Yeah,
it's rough out, and then I just smash right into the floor. Boom, knee just smashes into the floor. I'm like, I will never be barefoot on this boat again. And he's like, hey man, I'm getting Safe Floor on it. It's coming soon. Yeah. I'm like,
he's doing it for you.
No more
wonder why.
No more slicking and sliding, man. Well, I was just thinking, I'm like, man, if that wasn't my buddy and that was a client, man, that could have been bad.
Yeah,
could have been bad.
I could see that.
Yeah. So I'm like, we'll put some type of flooring in there. And I looked at everything, but Safe Floor is the cheapest I found. And I was like, and they give me a lifetime warranty, and they don't care that you're a captain. Like, if you want,
they still give you the lifetime, even though there's going to be people on that boat.
Yep.
More days than not.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I couldn't complain a whole lot about that. I was pretty happy about that. So, and it's half the price of C-Deck. And I'm like, yes, I can afford that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drop 5 G's on decking on this boat.
Make it a little softer.
Yeah. That's not going to happen. I will hold off. I will paint the deck with non-skid before I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just
talk about taking a fall then.
dude,
Get that spray in bed liner.
dude, I'll rhino line the crap out of it. White rhino liner. I don't care. You know.
Ooh.
So something I wanted to kind of talk about is the spearfishing. I feel like you guys, are you doing that? Are you just posting more videos now, or is this something that you guys are just doing more often now?
So recently we got into diving. We had a buddy of ours, Tom, who was getting dive certified right at a shop in Newport Richey, right where we launch out of, or he launches out of. And I was like, hey, man, like, you know, how much does that cost? He's like, oh, well, through the veteran program, it's free.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm like, well, I'm a veteran. Like, I got the GI Bill. Like, what do I got to do? Just go there. He's like, just go there and sign up, and then we'll get you certified. So I was like, okay.
I've been certified for
So
years.
he's been certified, but he's been out of the game for a while. So I went there, got my open water certification, got my advanced certification, got nitrox, deep diver, all this crap, and then I'm like, yo, let's do spearfishing because we started spearfishing just in shallow free diving. I'm a horrible free diver. I can get like 20 feet on the bottom for like 15 seconds. That's all I got. Yeah. He's a better free diver than me. I'll give you that. But so they're like, all right, well, let's start in 30 feet. We drop in a number in 30 feet, mangroves everywhere. Gag grouper just coming right up to me. Of course, they're out of season. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you know, this is cool. This is pretty cool. But he had been out of the game for a while. So when we went to go down, I start dropping. And then in his camera, he just goes like a foot under and just doesn't drop anymore.
Yeah, didn't have enough weight.
So he wasn't weighted properly.
Oh, yeah.
So it took us a little bit to just get, to get him situated. He got a new BC. He bought a new spear gun, all this stuff. But I'm like, all right, let's go deeper. Let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper.
Yeah, I was rocking a gun that was probably 12 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So then now we have dives in 90 feet, 105 feet. And we just both enjoy it. Like, it just goes kind of side and side with the offshore. Yeah. Like, we still do inshore stuff here and there, but we're kind of, I think, venturing more to offshore and diving and spearfishing offshore. Yeah. Like, that's going to be probably the main part of this stuff.
Yeah, there'll still be inshore stuff when it's blowing 20 and we can't.
Yeah, like I said.
Even when you're in a 30. Yeah, even when you're in a 30 footer when it's blowing 20 and they're calling for 4 to 5s.
It's just not fun.
It's not even worth the point. No. Yeah, it's not. But it's physically not.
For right now, as the future with all that is, I'm signed up to do tech diving next month. So I want to go deeper. I want to go, 150, 200-foot dives.
Like middle grounds.
I want to find, middle grounds. You're going to see middle grounds
we
dives.
can actually dive the middle grounds now. The middle grounds aren't that deep.
Was it 120?
125,
so we can actually dive that now.
But we have like wrecks in 150, and we have some spots even deeper.
Like that wreck that we took you out with all the AJs. Yeah. I want to know what's on the bottom of that thing.
You want to, it's like one of these things that JC and I, what we started doing when we go offshore is just drop our GoPros down. Yeah. And when you talk about like going through and editing that kind of footage, it's just really cool to like be able to actually see what structure and what type of fish. Because there's so many times that you go out and we're like, we're going to go target some hogfish. We're going to go target gag grouper or whatever. Now we can just drop that GoPro down and just be like, all right, we know for a fact that we saw gag grouper. We know for a fact that we saw hogfish and stuff like that. Because there's so many days you go out and they're like, you just can't get a bite. Yep. You can't get a bite for those like specific species. And just being able to learn the bottom and like learn exactly what the fish are doing and what fish are there, really cool. And that's why I love watching your guys' spearfishing videos, because you learn so much about the fish from watching those videos and how they kind of interact with the bottom and like where they're swimming specifically on like the ledges or whatever kind of bottom you guys are diving. It's just something about that is so cool to me.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm trying to think here. That we started once we ventured past 30 foot, we went to 70. And we just
and we jumped from 70 to
we jumped from 70 to really 110.
That day was miserable.
That was a terrible day.
It was 4s out.
Oh,
easily 4s.
It was pool
was
water.
Was that the day when we were supposed to go out and you guys said you went spearfishing the day before? And you guys were like, we got beat up?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But no, for the long run of the channel, so like I said, I'm going to do tech diving stuff. I want to do deeper stuff. I just want to see bigger wrecks, bigger fish. Maybe even, depending on how it is, find some black grouper numbers.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of like and then what's cool about like what I do too is I put the water temperature, and then obviously you have the date of the video, so
It's basically
we can go back.
causing a log for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go back and look at all these numbers and times and dates and just see what was there at certain times and dates. So it's going to help him also with chartering and everything else. And
I was talking to JC about that. Well, I guess this would be in the next podcast, but when the podcast that we already filmed, about how like these YouTube videos that we post really do help us to the fact that like we can go back to what we were doing a year ago, 2 years ago, like these exact kind of like dates and around this time, and kind of plan like, all right, these certain fish or these certain techniques were working last March or 2 Marches ago or whatever. Like we should go out there and target that. It was funny because I was just saying how yesterday I went out redfish fishing. I went to a specific spot and freaking killed it. And then I just got a Snapchat memory of 2 years ago of me fishing the same spot with JC doing the same thing, and we killed it. And I was just like, it's just one of these things. You get the memories, and kind of the YouTube channel helps you with that, because then you see exactly what baits, exactly the kind of weather and everything that's going on. So it's kind of the benefit of being able to save those kind of memories and use it as like a log, like you were saying.
Yeah, it definitely helps for sure.
What species, if you could pick one, would you go out there and target every single day if you could?
I am a grouper fanatic. Big grouper. Yeah, big gags. Let them tug. Let me feel it. Yeah.
I'll give you a little tug.
Yeah.
I'll let you feel it.
It won't be very big.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with him on that. There's just no better feeling than just being gunneled.
Yeah. What about spearfishing? If you like, I feel like that's more or less like, I feel like that's kind of asking like, which one would you rather eat?
So
is that
for like the challenging,
accurate?
because like when you spearfish, you'll see like hogfish, red grouper, they're stupid.
They're so curious.
They'll come right up to you.
I literally, in the last video I just posted, one just swims right by me, and then I shoot him.
Yeah, you were lined up on something completely different. It literally swam out like I swear in between your legs.
It was just like,
it just came
hey.
out there. And
So
I was
like,
a stud too.
Yeah, it was not bad. Definitely want to up the size as we get deeper, but like hogfish and red grouper, you can shoot those. I mean, I feel like anybody can shoot those.
Yeah.
Gag grouper, a lot of the times they're a little bit more harder, a little bit more spooky. They want to check you out more. They're going to go rock up a lot sooner than a red grouper would. And it's just a little bit more of a challenge, at least for me, in my opinion. So I just like being down there and shooting.
Yeah.
So like whatever I can shoot and help put in the box, I'm having a good time.
I'm not going to lie. Shooting big ARS is pretty fun, though.
ARS is also fun to shoot, yeah.
I can imagine how they just freaking fight you down.
Most of the time, it's pretty intense when you get
a lot of guys say they don't free shaft them too much because they'll just run with your shaft.
Yeah, they'll just keep going.
Oh, I can see that.
Like they won't have the line on the shaft. They'll just say, okay, well, see ya.
Yeah.
You shot me in the head, but now I'm leaving.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, they're pretty fun to shoot. I'll completely. They're fun to catch too. It just.
So one of the story on that is he had a charter. He caught 38-inch, 41-inch gag grouper on this number.
Yep.
Literally a couple days before. We're like, dude, let's go dive that number.
Yep.
And it was coming up on my birthday, so I was like, I gave him some money. I'm like, hey, let's run there and dive.
Yep.
I want to try to get one of these big gags. Top 50 foot swimming pool. You get past that.
Beautiful.
It was about 5 foot abyss.
Yeah.
Nope.
I literally ran into a Goliath.
Yeah, the
about
thing had to be
400 pounds.
Yeah, ran right in the side of it, just broadside of that guy. You didn't even see it.
Didn't see it until it was like from me to almost you.
Yeah, because they got that freaking camo.
No, he was sitting in the sand.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how bad the viz was.
Oh.
It was. Yeah. We got 2 ARS that day and a couple mangroves up top of the spot.
Yep.
But he caught 40-inch gags a few days ago.
Yep. It was unbelievable. Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. That spot was unbelievable. We were pulling some monster gags off it.
The one thing I do want to do some spearfishing. I'm certified to 60.
That's what I was telling him. I'm like, maybe we
were literally just talking about this after the last dive.
Out there doing some diving,
we were literally
I'll do some
saying
shallow
this.
stuff. I'll try it. I haven't dove in a couple of years, but get
we
back
can hit
into
some
it, doing some
30-foot
little
numbers.
beginner stuff. Yeah.
We'll take you up north. We're up north. I bet you're just full of mangs and sheepshead right now up there.
Yeah, we have some good numbers up north in 55.
Okay.
So
it's almost Crystal. It's Crystal River. We're running all the way from Pasco to Crystal River, but it's
real north. All right.
Yeah, but it's unbelievable.
But it holds like it's better than 70 or 80 up our way.
Yeah, way better. There's keeper red grouper on it. There's keeper hogs, mangs, stud gags. I mean, and the water was so clear there a couple times. He was deck cannon for me on our charter, and the water was so clear we could look at the grouper eating baits. Mm-hmm. We watched a 7-foot shark come in, turn, eat a bait, and then take off, and the rod starts bowing. Yeah, and we were in 50, 55 foot.
I've never seen it like that before.
Yeah,
the spots here, you can see the structure, and then you could see the black lines of the gag sitting outside, and you can watch just the shark come in, just from the boat looking down.
It's one of these things, like sharks don't, if I'm diving, they wouldn't freak me out unless I just speared a fish. It's like one of these things, it's like I hear people that freak out, like if they see one when they're going down, and I'm like, no, it's so if I have one pinned, then I would be terrified.
This video ain't going to be out for a week.
So we haven't put the video out yet, but
here we go.
I didn't film this part, but we were getting ready to go to on our second dive.
Yeah, I was being boat guy because he had his dive instructor.
Yeah, I had my dive instructor with me. Dustin wasn't diving that day. It was just me and my buddy Frank. And we're getting suited up to get down there, and he's fishing off the side. He's catching, pulling up grunts. Look over.
I caught a keeper hog.
Sharks are coming through, just dicing the fish.
Yep.
He's coming up. He's getting sharked.
I'm laughing.
Got Goliath on one.
Yeah, I'm
like, we're literally sitting on the gunnel getting ready to go in.
Watching
and there's sharks coming up, just swiping
fish.
And I'm like, dude, you are a jackass.
like it's your fault.
I told him, like, hey, man, next time I'm going to bring a chum block out for you, buddy, and send that to the bottom.
Get a couple bonita out there and tie them to a line.
Well, we had a king in a box.
Yeah.
And
I was like, man, I'll just bleed him out over the boat next
time.
Over
on the side. He's like, dude, don't. He just straight dead face, like, don't. Just don't. And I'm dying laughing. Yeah. Like, I should.
So we drop in real quick. There's a hogfish. I shoot the hogfish. I tuck him underneath the ledge because I know there's predators in the area. So, and I know Frank's, like, you always dive with your dive buddy. And you, know, he's above me watching my back. So I'm stringing up the hog. I look back. He's already giving me the sign. Hey, shark's right behind us.
Yeah.
So the sandbar's already lurking in the distance.
Yep.
I string him up. I start swimming. There he is, hanging on the backside of the ledge, just swimming.
Oh, great. And that big old Goliath, right?
About a 500-pound Goliath comes out from under the ledge too. Oh. So we got Goliaths and sharks in this area.
Right where you put your hogfish, it is kind of
there. I took the stringer off my body and I'm holding it at this point. I'm not keeping it on my body right now.
Pansy.
As you're up there on the boat. Playing with them.
Well, when I was in high school, I scraped boats for a living.
Yeah.
That's what I did for my job throughout high school in Gulf Harbor's channels. Mm. And not a lot of people, those channels are full of big bulls.
Yeah, they are.
I've had the worst time I had a bull shark literally come up and slam me into the bottom of the boat. And he was about 9 foot. And he kept coming back for more. I actually had to take the scraper I was using and hit him across the head with it.
That is terrifying.
And he kept coming back. I got out of the water. I was like, that's not happening. My boss called me. He's like, why aren't you in the water right now? And I'm like, why don't you come over here and find out? He jumps in, jumps right back out. He's like, we're canceling this customer. Bull shark had wanted no part. And there's absolute giant bull sharks in there. People don't even know. Like, coming up in May, you want to do a shark video and catch a stud, fish Gulf Harbor's channels.
Really?
I've caught, my biggest shark was about 400 pounds, doing the length measurement and the girth measurement, about 400 pounds. And it came off a dock in Gulf Harbors.
You caught it off a dock?
Caught it off a dock.
How did it not, run up or down what were you using?
9-aught.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, chained off to the dock. and then that shark got attacked by a bigger shark. When I got it in, it had a bite mark across its top of its back that wide.
Like fresh?
Bleeding. Oh. Like, it got attacked as I was in the middle of the fight. People don't understand those bull sharks go on those channels to spawn.
Yep.
In the spring and going into summer, like May. It was like it was like mid May, right at sunset is when I hooked up. About 45 minutes to get him in.
Oh, so it was dark by the time you got him.
It was getting dark. Yeah. It was like 7. It was getting dark, but we were able to get some cool pictures, which that fun swimming in the Gulf of Mexico someplace that has those pictures on it. So, yeah. But, yeah, we've caught some absolute giants out of those channels.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, the spearfishing with sharks. Like I said, it's like I've heard people say, they refuse to dive certain spots because of the sharks.
Yeah.
And I always say, I'm like, if I'm going down, if I'm just kind of diving, that's different. Like bull sharks in the canal that are all fired up because they're about to breed or whatever they're doing. That's different. When you're on like a wreck and it's clear water and you see a sandbar or a bull or like off in the distance, you don't have any fish or anything speared. It's like, all right, they're going to do their thing. I'm going to do my thing. Yeah. As soon as you spear that fish, though, that shark's going to be in the back of my head so fast. And I'm going to be like, all right, I got my one fish. I'm out.
That's what happened when we were diving up north. He dives first.
I dove a spot first. We were just solo diving in that 55 foot stuff we were talking about. I dove, shot fish, came up. He dove.
We moved like a half mile from the spot that he dove at. And I drop in, and it's just a singular boulder the size of this room. Just one rock in the middle of the sand. It's just, there's gags stacked everywhere. My gun I was using at the time was garbage. I couldn't get a shaft to stick anything. I shot a big hog and a big mang. And I lined up on the shot with like a 27-inch gag. And I was going to unicorn shoot him. He's staring at me. Corner of my eye, look over, and there's a 7-foot sandbar charging me. Heading right
at the same time.
I'm like, I just put my back to the rock, point the gun at him. I'm like, I don't really care about this gun. I'll shaft you and let you take the gun.
Yeah.
He came in and then zipped away. And I'm like, you son of a gun.
Yeah.
Then we ran into 30-foot. He drops in, shoots some mangroves. I drop in, again, half mile probably from the spot. I drop in a rock pile. I'm using his gun this time, though. I shot a couple mangs, and I missed a big hog. I turn around and go over top of the rock pile. There's like a 6-foot sandbar cruising the rock pile. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. What is going on with these sharks? I'm like, I can't get away. I come up, I'm like, man, I'm done for the day. And he's like, what happened? I'm like, dude, both spots. He's like, get out of here. And I think that was besides for going over to the Bahamas to actually do an actual shark dive, I think that was your first time seeing a shark in the Gulf was just the other day,
just
right?
recently, Got certified and then went on a trip to the Bahamas, dove with sharks, and just haven't seen one until just recently.
I guess that's a good sign.
It is a good sign.
Yeah.
But like they don't really bother me. But like you said, you just got to kind of be more curious when you're spearfishing, because like like people say, action brings action.
Yeah.
So like
I've seen all those videos that you see of the people spearfishing. Have you seen the one of like I forgot it was some open water spearfishing and he was going for
the shark comes up and starts
or something.
Yeah, two sharks come up and start. I sent that to you on Instagram.
No, this video there is like
is it where he's
40
jabs?
of them.
Oh, okay.
There's like 40 reef sharks that just come out from like the blue, and this dude, the boat's I don't even know 50 yards away, and he comes up to the surface and he looks down. They're all just coming right up to him with he's holding like I don't know like a 30-pound yellowfin. Oh, and he's just like yelling at his buddy like.
Does he stab the shark?
Oh yeah, he starts.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah,
it was terrifying.
That was crazy.
So it's that's not going to happen over here. We're not going to have that. We're going to have a sandbar coming up to you to try to nibble your fins or something. But
no, sandbar will jack you up.
I believe it.
Big sandbar will jack you up. You got to watch them. They got less of a tell than a bull shark. Yeah. Bull shark, you can tell when he's going to attack. Sandbars, you really have no idea.
They got that like lurk into them.
Yeah.
Like I feel like bull sharks come right in. They're like, hey, what's up? Like I'm here.
Yeah.
Sandbar will come in, check you out, and then sit out.
On the
far,
distance,
and just watch.
And then as soon as you shoot something, they'll dart in instantly.
Because on that last dive, which is that sandbar, like we ran into him at least 4 to 5 times. He never left us. He was just sitting just out of sight. Mm-hmm. He knew where we were.
And as you can see in the videos, they're coming up. Oh, they're coming up. They're in a tornado of AJs, and the AJs break at one point. And you can see him down there circling with the AJs, and I'm like, that guy. He wanted every bit of you guys to drop something.
Yeah, he was just waiting for that one opportunity, that one messed up fish, and just take advantage of it.
But as long as you dive with somebody that's got your back, because I know if I shoot a fish or he shoots a fish, immediately, we stay within a 15 or 20 foot span. Mm-hmm. So like if I see him with one, like I'm immediately going to start watching for him.
Yeah.
Just in case. Once he gets settled and he's strung up and everything good, then we're going to go back to doing what we ever do.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why. Cobia just intrigued me a little bit.
It's because you don't get to target them often.
Yeah. It's
we don't
like
have
you see them randomly
We don't have
offshore.
a legit cobia fishery.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I'll have to hit him up. We can probably do an offshore cobia trip. I got a spot my buddy will probably give me. I caught my personal best off at 50 pounds, and I hooked one that had to be 80. His head was that wide. Oh my God! When he swam underneath the boat, and I had a bucktail jig with a paddle tail on it.
Yep.
Flipped it out to him, jigged it twice. He turned on it and sucked it in, and I hooked it. And I already landed a cobia for the day, so I handed the rod off to somebody. This cobia was huge, and the guy just couldn't keep up with the cobia, and he ended up breaking off, and just couldn't horse him in. But I was on a wreck in south of the bay a little bit.
Okay.
And it's a bull shrimp boat wreck, and there's just massive cobia that hang around it.
Apparently an 80-pound cobia?
Yeah, there was more than one of those too. But yeah, I caught my 50-pounder on snapper gear.
Yeah.
30-pound leader fishing for mangroves. I caught a tomtate, and I was reeling the tomtate up and I seen this big cobia, so I slowly dropped it back down, and he smoked it. Yeah, and I landed that one that way. And then his was a mistake.
Yeah, it was a pinfish on the bottom, wasn't it?
We were shallow water grouper fishing, casting out to rock piles. Cat. And that little cat, yeah.
And it just lights up.
I got hit so hard by that dang egg weight when I gaffed that stupid fish.
Gaffed it in, and then that thing was just going ape shit, and that weight was just flinging.
He was still green. Like, I shouldn't have took the gaff shot.
Yeah.
But I was like,
you want to get in
the boat. Gaffing it.
Exactly.
It weighed in at like, I think when we got home, I put it on the scale. After it was on ice, it weighed in about 30 pounds.
Okay.
So
but
you
just getting, bad one. You just got rocked by this egg weight.
Dude, yeah, it hit the deck. As soon as it hit the deck, that egg weight, he slung his head, that egg weight went right around and caught me right in the center of the shin. I was like, I swore so bad when that thing hit me. I was like, you gotta. I was like, oh my God. And then we didn't have a cooler big enough to fit him in. So me and Brandon grabbed it. He grabbed the tail, I grabbed the head, and we crushed him sideways and stuck him in a 65-quart cooler. On top of, we had like a 30-inch gag in there.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we're done for the day. We got enough fish.
We can't put up any more fish anywhere.
We couldn't do anything.
Just laying them out on the deck on the way back or something. But you said a little bit of the snook coming up. I know they'd move off the beach a little bit coming up here in the summer.
They're going to be moving on to the beach.
Or onto the beach, I mean. Yeah. At least here in my area, the redfish are really starting to move around, and I'm assuming it's probably the same kind of pattern up by you guys.
They really haven't. Our issue was this cold front. They were starting to move. They were starting to do normal. Then we got hit with the cold front. Our water temp up our way dropped 10 degrees.
That's what JC was saying. He said it was in the 70s and then dropped down to like...
The other morning I had 57 degrees when I was going out in that bait.
That's crazy.
57. That was yesterday morning I had 57.
That's wild.
I had to run around to find 64-degree water temp. And that's when I found the 64, I found fish that were willing to chew.
Yeah.
And it shocked them so much. I mean, they're starting to chew now, but they're eating like wintertime again. And it's like we were having to meet chummers. We were throwing white baits at them. They were hitting them, and it was great. The snook were doing the same thing. And then suddenly everything just kind of went back to
winter patterns.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, this is like, it messes with you a little bit when you're like, on a daily routine, you're like, this is what I'm doing. I can go hit this spot and guarantee this fish. Then so you get hit with a cold front, and you're like,
back to fishing in December. It seems like
exactly. I literally went to a spot I'd fish in December and February,
and you found the fish there,
and we found black drum.
Yep.
And we were just
sheep's head, black drum.
No sheep's head, not a single one. We didn't catch a single sheep's head. It started out yesterday was a terrible day. It started out net and bait, which is cold. Freaking in the 50s in the morning, and I'm getting soaked throwing a 12-foot net. Didn't use any of the white bait. I bought shrimp, brought with. We caught before 11:30. We had one fish in the boat, and it was an 8-inch mangrove snapper. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I ran back into a pocket, get in there. There's 2 boats in there. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
So I start fishing a side I normally don't fish of it. Started catching catfish.
Oh, there you go. Quality.
And I'm like, clients had a 13 and a 12-year-old on the boat. They were happier than could be. I'm getting pissed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. I was getting pissed to the point that my brain wasn't working right. I reached out and almost grabbed a hold of a catfish. Oh. And I was like, whoa.
Nope.
I'm looking at the catfish. I'm like, no, D-hooker, pop that thing out. And then some guys in a John boat, they're like, hey man, you're fishing crazy. I'm like, yeah. They're like, we went on an offshore trip with you and killed the grouper. I'm like, hey, yeah, it was great. Like, I don't remember who you are. But
yeah. See,
and he's like, I'll be calling you. And he starts moving his John boat out of my way. And I'm like, oh, I'm sliding in right there.
Yeah.
Slide in right there. First cast with 24-inch black drum.
Mm-hmm.
Next cast, 16, 17, 18. It was just nonstop after that. And I sat there all the rest of the day. I had an 8-hour inshore. Mm-hmm. I sat there from 11:30 till 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Did nothing. And just sat there. Clients were happy to be catching black drum. I'm like,
are they from Florida? Were they from Florida?
Native Floridians.
Huh. Okay. Yep. I was going to say, you get some people from like Wisconsin that catch bluegill and crappie all day, and then you get them on some black
Minnesota.
drum.
Minnesota. That's been the big thing, man. I get so many guys from Minnesota. It's not even funny. Oh, my. So many guys looking on the boat, oh yeah, I'm from Minnesota, you know. And,
You didn't have to tell me. I could have figured that one out. Yeah.
And then I'll start mimicking their accent back. They're like, man, you're pretty good at that, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I get a lot of you guys on the boat. They laugh. They think it's funnier than hang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, you should go up and do some ice fishing with us sometime, you know. And I'm like,
no,
I
don't really want to.
I don't want to have to stand on a frozen chunk of ice and drill a hole to catch a perch.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
Of the two of you, who was the better fisherman and who was a better spear fisherman?
Oh, I'll smoke him on rod and reel all day.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of got on the point of where you were tying his hooks for him up 3 years ago.
So basically,
I'll smoke him on rod and reel all day, and I used to be able to do it on spear gun too.
So he's Captain Daddy fisherman.
Yeah,
He's taught me I know. So no brainer, he's going to smoke me on rod and reel.
Yeah.
In my defense, I think better spear fisherman diver.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, without a doubt.
We're in agreement.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
No, without a doubt. Like I always have an issue whenever I'm diving. There's always something comes up.
I've cut a lot of stuff out for his stuff.
Like there's one part of the video he cut where I literally plowed into the bottom.
He just I think he was in awe of all the gags.
Dude,
right
there was so many gags, and I wasn't paying attention, and I crashed.
There's all this dust.
Dude, it was
still
terrible.
trying to load his gun.
There was probably 60 gags on this spot.
Yeah,
big ones, not 60 like that one's keeper. That one, no. They were all like
keeper,
28 to 40 inches, like just studs, and I'm just like, which one do I want to shoot first?
You start freaking out
and just right into the bottom.
First, we need to taste sand first.
Yeah, I tasted a lot of sand. The red got sand blasted.
I've been diving, I think, recently a lot more than he has.
Yep.
And then spearfishing, just between buying a new koa and then just going out there and doing it, I just picked up on it super quick and just, I don't know.
So you were saying you really started getting into it, in the past year and a half?
Yeah, so we started doing some real shallow water stuff.
Sheep's head stuff, around docks and that kind of stuff.
Around docks.
Yeah. I shoot mullet too. Like some people comment on
free dive though.
Some people, free dive.
Free dive.
Yeah. No.
You're not sitting under someone's dock waiting.
No, free dive and all.
Some people comment like, man, don't people get pissed that you're under their docks? And I'm just like,
they don't own the water.
Whatever. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I'm just whatever. Get mad. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, we just started going offshore, and then it's like all I watch on YouTube is just deep water diving, spearfishing.
Yeah.
Like that's just what I'm into.
Yeah.
And after doing it a few times, I'm like, okay, this is what I love doing.
I remember back in a couple of years ago. Do you know Youngblood, like the guy over in Australia, back when he really was just purely spearfishing and not. I mean, I still watch him, but he's now this kind of
lifestyle
personality,
person.
kind of lifestyle vlogs. But back in the day when he would do the full spearfishing edits with the music and everything, those were so sick.
Yeah,
he was going out and it's all these Australian fish, these fish that we don't see very often, all these different species. And it was just so cool. I remember I was in college and I'll put them up on the TV and my buddies are just like, what are you watching? I'm like, this is just so sick to me. It's you get to learn so much, and seeing your guys' videos now doing it over here, and with our little bootleg version where we drop down the GoPro, it's kind of the cheater version, but just to be able to kind of see the fish down there is just so cool. And at least from the comments that I've been getting on the videos where I've been doing that, people seem to really enjoy that as well. And it's just it's just one of these things. You get to see them in a way you don't see them every day.
Actually, from a recent dive that we did, I've learned a lot about gag grouper and hogfish.
I feel a dive collab coming.
You about it? I'm about it. I got the boat to handle it. Let's go. Let's get it.
What are we doing?
Dive collab?
Man. Let's go.
Oh, I'm in. I'll give it a shot. I'll try and do that again. It's been years, I said.
I'll let you use my new koa.
I got a spot we could go. I don't know if you heard of Buford Sink. It's up our way. It's about 130-foot hole just in the ground. You don't have to go out on a boat or nothing, but super easy spot to go to and just do a quick refresher.
I'm in. I'm in to give it a shot.
If you want to.
I got no gear. I got nothing. I can rent it.
We can get that.
That's all.
I got tanks. Stuff. We can use his gun or my gun.
Yeah, we'll
figure it out.
Use my reg too.
Yeah.
I don't need to dive that day. I'll be boat boy.
Do you have a special mast that you mount your GoPro to, or is it just a head mount?
Yeah, I'll send it to you if you want to get one, but it's because I've used the plastic ones that you put here. And
I've seen those.
Problem is, anytime you move your head, it rocks, and you hear it in the GoPro, and it goes. the whole video, and you're like,
yeah, he bought that mask, and then I bought the ones that we use now, and I just bought it because it was, quite frankly, it wasn't that much money. It was like $40 on Amazon. I'm like,
for a mask, that ain't bad.
No,
well, the one we have is 90.
Was it 90?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
So anyway, it's a nice
40,
wide
90,
one.
yeah. What's the difference?
And it's a metal bracket instead of just a stupid plastic zip-on one.
Yeah,
it's metal into the frame, so it has the best fitting. So there you get no shake or nothing like that.
Once I bought that mask, I think it was like after that dive, Brandon ordered that exact mask. Yeah. He's like, dude, I'm done. I don't even know whatever happened to your old mask.
It's still in there for fun diving. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
For fun diving.
Yeah, it's got like the coastal lens on it. It's expensive as hell, but like
not
for filming.
For that.
Yeah,
not for filming.
Not good for filming. But yeah,
no, I'm watching your videos. Like I love the GoPro ones that go down. I'm like, we should tell them let's dive that spot.
Let's
go to your spot.
I'm so in to give it a shot because all my spots are honestly the deepest spot I really got is like 65.
Yeah, really.
And that's about 18 crazy. Out, just like a little 5-foot ledge that
it's
holds
crazy
a lot of
though
grouper.
You say 18 out because like.
Yeah, we're like 18 out. We're like
30
what are we in 35
I know.
feet?
I was talking when I was talking to JC on the first podcast, he was mentioning that how it's just like so different. We don't have to go that far north at all, and you're in a completely different area, fishing different patterns.
From here by boat north is only like a 15-minute ride.
Oh yeah, during scallop season when I was running up there,
it's not far at all.
I think it was 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and you're there, and you could do the scallops right there by the lighthouse.
Yep.
Did you guys get on those?
No, I was too busy.
Yeah,
it was ARS season.
Yeah, oh, true.
So my whole idea
you were 80 miles out.
You weren't 80 miles out pulling on monsters.
You weren't on a grass flat with 300 other boats trying to get some scallops.
We were watching those guys because we'd run in just all these guys would be out and we're running back in the afternoon with a fish box full of fish and these guys are out catching scallops. I'm like, it just doesn't sound that enjoyable.
It was fun. I went out there. I think it's a 10-day season for Pasco, and we hit the last 5 days of the season in a row.
Yeah.
And we got our limit every day but the last day in less than 2 hours.
I think, what did we do? We did it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, we got like your front bait well a quarter of the way full.
We didn't get our limit.
Well, they were saying that like last year was just like the best it's ever been for Pasco or something like that.
They seeded it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like FWC or something?
Yeah. That's why Pasco County's been so good.
Like they go out and they put like little baby guys out there.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen these videos of the people that go out on the patch reefs down in the Keys, and they'll sit there and snorkel up on the surface with a little yo-yo rig and drop it down in front of hogfish, and from the surface hook a hogfish with the yo-yo rig and then bring it up.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
it's kind of sick.
I've watched that.
Yeah, it's something I want to try next time. But I was wondering like if that was something that like. Imagine you guys go down and you guys are like, I don't know, like 20 feet off the bottom and you have a little yo-yo and you drop it down with a weight and you like see a hog and you're able to get it from there.
I'd be into doing that.
I don't see why it couldn't be done. I would even upgrade it even better. I don't want a yo-yo rig.
What I want to do is I want to have someone on a boat and hand feed a Goliath.
I have thought about that and so many times how sick that would be.
I was literally telling him, I'm like, man, we should do that and have JC hold on the rope.
One's on the rope at the top.
Just JC.
You're down there and you feed it to the biggest one that you can find.
Dude, we got that spot, that shallow that has that monster.
The spot we just went to.
You just go down there with a bonita or something. And you're just like, here, buddy. Like, come on over here.
That's the same spot we tried that you handlined that monster, and then we had that big 10-foot hammerhead try to eat the handline.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So I caught a barracuda.
Yeah. Imagine if that ate the handline.
Yeah, it did eat it, but luckily it ate it like a wishbone. And it bit it, and all we got back was the head.
Okay, I was going to say.
We didn't have the offshore boat at that time.
We were in the bay boat. I caught a barracuda. He was probably this big.
Dude, they love cudas.
I took the hook, just lifted it to the bottom and the top, dropped it down. 10 minutes later, I see a hammerhead come by the boat.
Big one, too, 10, 11 footer.
Straight down the rope.
And then
all of a sudden,
the rope starts
scoping out. And I'm like,
so
I'm just happy.
Brandon's like, bro, what are we going to do? I'm like, buddy, you better hang on to
Tie it to the cleat.
That's what I said. I'm like, you better hang on to it tight enough so I can get it tied in the cleat, and we're going to let him drag the boat.
Yeah.
He's like, how long do you think he's going to drag it? I'm like, well, a 14-footer dragged a 25-foot offshore boat for 10 hours straight. Yeah. So 10-footer to 22-foot bay boat. We're going to be out here all night.
Yeah. Jeez.
Not worth it.
So I kind of wanted to wrap it up with talking about our middle ground trip that we did last year. So that was, when was that? Was that July?
That was June.
That was June. That was right when
ARS
Red
was opening.
Yeah, Red Snapper opened for you guys.
For federal permitted.
For the federal permit people.
Yep.
And we went out. This is my first time ever fishing with you guys.
Yep.
The only time I've ever fished with you guys, which is
weird
to say. I feel like that is weird to say.
Yeah.
But we went out and, I quickly learned how much you guys just kind of bicker at each other. And it's just talk the entire time.
Nonstop.
Oh, it's
Nonstop.
great. I loved it. But we went out and I remember we talked about the little amberjack that we got. But then I feel like we got the ARS pretty quickly from what I remember. And then we really wanted to get on those gags because you had gotten on those big gags. Like
It was the day before.
Yeah, the day
it was
before.
literally the day before I ran a 12-hour, and we put a 42 in the boat.
That is crazy. 42.
Yeah.
So I remember we were like really wanting the gags, and it kind of took us a while until like the very end.
The very
of the
last spot in shallow too. We were fishing 90 foot, and we started hammering.
We were like tripling up.
Dude,
Weren't
it was
you
unbelievable.
using a jig?
I was using a slow pitch jig, and
Yeah.
you guys were using live pinfish, and we were just hammering. I think we ended that day with our red grouper limit.
Yep.
We did red grouper limit, ARS limit, and we were like 1 or 2 gags shy.
I think
of
we were
our
one
gag.
short, if I remember.
And I said if I would have known that, we would have hit another spot to try to get in that one last one, but we didn't pay attention. Yeah,
We were drifting the whole time.
yeah, we
too.
drifted the whole time. Didn't even drop anchor one
That's
time.
what I was trying to explain to people. I'm like, I don't think the engines were off the entire day,
left
and
them run
everyone's
all day.
like, what? I'm like,
Yep.
I don't. If that's normal,
Those
I
are
don't
the
know if
old
that's.
motors?
Those are the old ones. We couldn't.
Yeah. So when you turn them off, sometimes they had a tendency to not turn back on.
Oh,
We didn't want to tell you.
now
that
you
one.
tell me that.
We burned a lot of extra fuel.
we're
letting them
like,
things idle.
we're just gonna leave them on all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to I think I was like talking to JC, or I was talking to other people. I'm like, yeah, we just drifted all day. We never anchored up. The engines never turned off. I was like, I don't know if that's normal or
Well,
like.
a lot of offshore guys will leave their motors run.
That's what I've heard. Though. I was like, all right, maybe that's just like
because
the thing.
when you're offshore, you know, a starter could go out and you don't know it.
Yeah.
You got to fire up your motor and you're 100 miles offshore and your starter went out. You're not replacing that while you're on the water.
Yeah.
And it really sucks limping home on one motor.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah. We're not doing that again. Oh, no, I said that. Knock on wood.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, I mean, June 1st, man, it opens back up. I mean,
ARS?
yeah, man. Let's plan another trip. Let's get out there and
so
start
in for
hammering
that. That
them.
was so much fun.
I have June 1st open right now if we want to hit opening day.
Do you know what day that is?
I don't remember off the top of my head. No.
I'm pulling it up right now. But I just got I got it for Christmas. A Speedmaster.
I seen it on your last video.
Yeah,
I seen that
because of you
Speedmaster.
guys,
I'm
when
like,
I
this boy rocking almost identical combo.
Oh yeah, that was like I
like-
want to get one of these so bad because it was when I went out with Max Berman, Grouper
Yep.
MVP.
Yep.
Not too long after you guys that I fought that 40-inch gag on my Truth setup that I brought, and it literally was bending the rod so much. The drag was, I was like thumbing the spool, trying to get as much drag on it as it could. The line literally cut like the foam like handle right there by the reel seat. And I'm like, maybe it's time to upgrade my grouper gear if I'm going to be kind of doing this a little bit more. So I'm excited. I really haven't put that thing to the test too much besides like some keeper reds and some like I think the biggest was like a 27-inch gag that we got that day, but I really want to see what that thing can do.
Hey man, I'm all about it. I mean, we can schedule a trip beforehand too and go out deep again. I am itching to get back out in the blue water.
There you go. When's the last time you were out?
Deep?
December?
No.
It was on that one trip we were
That
in.
one trip we went and scouted
125 or
some
something?
Yeah.
A few months.
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah. Haven't been running deep. Been doing a lot of charter kind of bullshit trips in shallow.
Yeah.
People pay. They like it though. You know, we
Less
fishing.
gas.
Yeah, less gas. When you only have to run 30 miles, it's nice and compared to running 60. But I'd rather do the 60. I'd rather be out.
That's
playing.
what. Yeah.
I'd rather
It's
be
just
out
more
there.
fun.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah. So I think we should be wrapping it up here. Thank you guys for joining me on this podcast right here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Make sure to check out their YouTube. Yeah, wow, I can't even talk. YouTube channel that is Nsanefishing, and also check out Dustin's charter service that is Fishing Crazy Charters. Do you have a website or?
Yes.
I see the phone number, but I can't read it right now on your chest.
The phone number is 727-495-1856. And then my website's www.fishnpr.com.
There you go. Yeah, and as you've heard, he catches quite a few fish, and he'll even teach you how to tie a hook. Apparently,
will
if need be.
I feel like I'm somewhat decent now.
Yeah. I mean, you're decent enough to be a deckhand, so that's that's pretty decent,
something, right?
I guess.
And especially if you're from Minnesota, he really loves you guys.
I will take you out, and I'll even speak your language.
Minnesota,
yeah, Minnesota. Up there in the cold. Want to go do some ice fishing? Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm all about it, man. All about it.
There you go. Well, thank you guys for joining me on this, and we will see you guys next time.
See y'all.